Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome back to our channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that this video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine, as you can see. Kisumu is fantastic, and maybe you could also let me know where you're watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, William Samoei Arap Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, is expected in the United States of America on the 23rd day of May 2024 for an official state visit. The Democrats also placed a special request to the Speaker of the Congress, Mike Johnson, to allow the President to address a joint sitting of the Congress. But that request was declined. And on this channel, I did a comprehensive analysis why that request was cancelled. And I explained that probably the move by Kenya to vote in favor of Palestine might have been the main reason why the US decided not to allow the president to address the Congress. I also explained that probably Kenyans wrote letters or petitioned the Congress, the Speaker of the Congress, not to allow the President Ruto, to address the Congress. I also explained that probably the reason why William Ruto was locked out is as a result of the upcoming US election, which is coming up in November. The fact is, the current Speaker of the Congress is a Republican. Biden is a Democrat. And most Kenyans believe that Republicans are also not comfortable with William Ruto. And of course, the fact that the Speaker is a member of the Republican also confirms that indeed he was not going to allow Ruto. But Gitobu Imanyara, through his official Twitter handle, posted something that caught my attention. In this video, I want us to go through Gitobu Imanyara's tweet and then do a proper analysis. This is what Gitobu Imanyara is posting. Actually, Gitobu Imanyara is explaining that the main reason why the US declined William Ruto's request to address the Congress is because Kenyans wrote letters. So I want us to go through that tweet by Gitobu Imanyara and then figure out why Kenyans decided to write letters to stop William Ruto from addressing the Congress. Because if William Ruto were to address that Congress, he was going to make history as the first president from Africa in 18 years to address the Congress after the former president of Liberia, Ellen Johnson. So this is what Gitobu Imanyara is posting. Remember, Gitobu Imanyara is a former member of parliament. He's a strong member of the civil society. This is what he's posting. What is not coming out clearly regarding the now not happening address by President William Ruto to a joint session of US Congress during his visit to the US later this month is that the decision not to extend the invitation by House Speaker was preceded by hundreds of emails from Kenyans within Kenya and in the diaspora requesting Speaker Johnson not to extend the invitation to President Ruto on account of his disrespect of democratic governance principles set out in the Kenya Constitution and the state capture by corruption cartels. So according to Gitobu Imanyara, the main reason why Kenyans decided in their hundreds to write letters to petition the Speaker not to extend the invitation is because William Ruto is not a Democrat, is not following the principles of democracy, and that there is a corruption cartel that is currently in charge of the Republic. And it continues, those faulting the Speaker's decision have no idea of what's happening in Kenya. Sadly, the American ambassador in Kenya is aiding and abetting in this criminal enterprise that rule Kenya. Respect the Constitution or perish. So you can clearly see Gitobu Imanyara is dragging Meg Whitman. Meg Whitman was once described by Raila Odinga as a rogue ambassador.
Finally, you want to tell a rogue ambassador, leave Kenyans alone. If Mandamano can lead to a dialogue between Ichungwa and Kalonzo, everything is good with Mandamano. Tell the rogue ambassador, Kenya is not United States. Kenya is not a colony of the United States. Keep your mouth shut when you hear. Otherwise, we will call for your recall back to your country. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
But why would Kenyans deny their president the privilege of becoming the first president of Africa, the first president from Africa to address the joint sitting of the Congress in 18 years? Why would they deny him that chance? That's exactly what I want us to analyze in this video. But before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in, and I want to head straight to point number one. Why do you think Kenyans decided that they were not going to allow their president to address that Congress? Because if William Ruto were to address that Congress, William Ruto was going to be elevated. He was going to, a lot of investors, in my view, were going to come into the country. Kenya was going to be placed in that map. So why would they deny him? Number one, there is a very strong feeling amongst Kenyans that the US ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whitman, is not telling the real story about the real situation in Kenya. Remember when she had that altercation with Raila Odinga? It's because he described Kenya as the most democratic country in Africa.
Let me repeat, Kenya's largest export is the United States, and we feel Kenya is ready for liftoff as it diversifies. Let me unpack a couple of these areas. Democracy. I arrived in Kenya days before the August 22 general elections. What I witnessed was nothing short of remarkable. Kenya held what many analysts and commentators say was the freest, fairest, and most credible election in Kenyan history. The elections were observed by international and local election organizations, and the results were upheld by the Kenyan Supreme Court, and power was transferred orderly and peacefully at the time. Now, gateway to East Africa. As I said, Kenya is the gateway to East Africa. 80% of East African regional trade passes through Kenya's Mombasa port. In addition, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi is the busiest airport in East Africa, served by 40 passenger airlines and 25 cargo carriers, including FedEx and DHL.
And of course, Meg Whitman is also coming out as someone who is keen on advancing a certain narrative. So that is the first reason why Kenyans decided the US ambassador to Kenya is not doing Kenya any good. So let us just petition the speaker directly. We don't want our president to be given that platform. Number two is probably the aftermath of the 2022 presidential elections in the Republic of Kenya. It is now clear that majority of Azimio supporters are yet to come to terms with the fact that William Ruto was declared the president of the Republic of Kenya. So they're still very bitter with him. And even if you leave that, they also believe that William Ruto is a project of the US, that William Ruto was installed as the president. So because of that bitterness, they will always do anything to undermine William Ruto. I was reading some of the comments in that post. There are those who are supportive of Ruto, and some are feeling that Kenyans were now going overboard. And I read one of the comments there that if Ruto were to know the specific people who wrote those letters, they'll be in deep trouble, because that was going to be a very huge opportunity for him. The truth is, the aftermath is still being felt. In fact, I'm glad that Meg Whitman, after the Eldoret encounter with Raila Odinga, decided to de-escalate his praise of Kenya. In fact, if she's doing it, probably in private. This is the moment I really wished we had the WikiLeaks guy who would have been telling us some of the he would have been leaking some of the details to the public. Number 3, I think the other factor is the Democrat versus Republicans. Kenyans are very smart, and Kenyans, I think, are the most active when it comes to do with issues of politics. Kenyans probably have realized, in my view, that the Democrats are facing it rough, and they also realized that Republicans are likely to win, and because of that, they didn't want William Ruto to enjoy this privilege, because they know by November probably Biden is going to be out of the picture, another president is going to come up, and that new president will start looking at Kenya from a different angle. So we didn't want Ruto to continue enjoying those privileges. I'm 100% sure that whatever the speaker told us through the assistant chief of staff, what he told us might not be the actual reason. Probably they are, because those guys are well trained on how to communicate without hurting. So maybe the issue is the Democrats and Republicans. These guys are Republican. They realized, okay, Kenyans don't want this guy, let us stop. And lastly, Kenyans, in their own typical way, just wanted to dim the light on the president. They didn't want to give President Ruto the chance to shine, because this was going to be a very big opportunity for the president, if you ask me, making history as the first president to address a joint Congress, that is the Senate, US Senate, which normally produces the president, and House of Representatives. That was going to be huge. So you decide. I don't think if William Ruto will miss this opportunity. I doubt if he will ever get such kind of an opportunity again. And even the country called Kenya might not get that opportunity in the foreseeable future. It's not going to become. And I also don't think if Kenya will get that opportunity again anytime soon. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.